Here in Texas, Democrats are energized. They feel the wind at their backs, and that means for the first time in a very long time, Republicans across the state are playing defense. Did you ever think that you would run for office?
That's a, I had jokes with my teachers in elementary. I guess I've always been the diplomat.
On paper, Austin Talley is about as solid a Republican candidate the party could ask for. Veteran, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and native Texan. But in this Austin suburb, his race for the state house is expected to be one of the toughest in Texas.
It's going to be a lot of work. It's supposed to be the third hardest race in the state of Texas for 2020.
We caught up with Talley in the city of Kyle, a place where Republicans have been forced to eat some old-fashioned humble pie. He's running to unseat first-term Democrat Aaron Zwiner, who beat a Republican in 2018. The district is a microcosm of what's happening across the state. How is your community changing? What does it look like?
We get about 110 that moved into this, what is called the Golden Corridor. 110 that move here a day. It's rapidly growing.
Texas is the fastest growing state in the nation. Randon Steinhauser's consulting company is advising Talley's campaign.
Right here on our street, there's 20 houses. My husband is the only native Texan on our street. We have folks from South Korea, Mexico, India, not just the traditional places like Chicago, New York, California, that you hear the rhetoric of all of these folks moving to Texas. They're moving to Texas from all over the world.
And as neighborhoods and communities transform, so do the state's politics. Cities are becoming more blue and spilling into the suburbs, creating new challenges for the GOP.
There is a sense of urgency, and it's excitement as well. And I think it's something that we're realizing in some ways we've taken things for granted.
Stacey Hawk is in charge of raising big bucks for Republican candidates across the state in 2020.
Thousands of people are moving here all the time, and largely from states that have big government policies, high tax, high regulation environments.
And here in Texas, we value freedom. We value the entrepreneurial spirit. We value individualism, and we have a rugged determination to make sure that we protect those freedoms.
For Texas Republicans, it's a conundrum. The same policies that make Texas attractive economically are biting Republicans politically. Analysts have watched the demographics change for years, but last year's surge in enthusiasm among Democrats served as a wake-up call. Beto O'Rourke made national headlines as he came closer to winning a statewide race than any Democrat in a generation, nearly unseating Republican Senator Ted Cruz. The excitement O'Rourke generated helped Democrats pick up 2 congressional seats, 2 state Senate seats, and a dozen seats in the state house. And next year, Democrats have 17 more state house seats in their sights. Tell me what it's like to be a Democrat in Texas these days.
Well, actually, a lot more encouraging than I would tell you last year before we had the last elections.
Democrat Donna Howard has served in the Texas State House for more than a decade. And even though her party is still in the minority, its gains in 2018 transformed the agenda Republicans pursued during the legislative session. With suburban women voters in mind, Republicans held back on pushing certain pro-life legislation and other social issues controversial with that voting bloc. Democrats like Howard welcomed the difference.
We're focused on kitchen table issues, things that make a real difference in the day-to-day lives of Texans, rather than being caught up in sucking up all the oxygen with divisive social issues. We saw even our leadership that was so focused last time on bathroom legislation back off of that totally.
And that's not all. While it's typically tough for Democrats to recruit candidates who don't want to run just to lose, Howard says now great candidates are stepping up because they believe they can win.
So I do think that there is a good possibility that we could become the majority in the next elective cycle.
It's a reality forcing Republicans to rethink their strategy. As Hawk works to raise money, the party is targeting Hispanic, women, and millennial voters to make the case GOP policies benefit them. And every Republican I spoke to pointed out the party must do a better job educating voters about the progress they've made.
For us, we just believe that we have to tell that story and make sure that folks understand that it's Republican policies that have made Texas so free and have made it so competitive.
We're richer for having the conversation and the dialogue, and I think we have a huge case to make.
Candidates like Talley are preparing for battle.
How much work are you going to have to do between now and election time? What does that look like for you?
It's a lot of work. It's probably 450 houses a week, knocking on doors, getting people to meet me and understand who I am.
And there's a wild card. No matter how hard Democrats and Republicans work, much will be determined by the state of the presidential race in 2020. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Austin, Texas.